We know one of the big challenges for this sector is around stranded and fragmented data. So really, before you can get value out of some of the more sophisticated technologies, you really want to be thinking about improving data quality and accessibility.
This is the Asset Champion Podcast, where we talk with facilities maintenance and asset management leaders about the industry trends, challenges, and technologies impacting your organization. This show is powered by Eptura, the global work tech company providing software solutions for people, workplaces, and assets to enable you to work your world. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. It's me, your host, Mike P. This is exciting, folks. I am coming to you from our Eptura London office. That's right, I made the trip across the pond to visit some of our friends of the show in real life. And joining me today, she was a frequent guest on my Workplace Innovator podcast, and now I am so excited to welcome her for the first time on this show. Everyone, let's give a warm Asset Champion podcast welcome to Susan Clark. Hi, Susan.
Well, firstly, Mike, welcome to London. I hope you are enjoying it.
Awesome. I wanted to get an authentic British accent on the show, and you've provided that.
Well, I'll try my best, Mike.
It's great to see you for the first time in real life.
Yeah, it's very cool. We're doing this in person. It's much more relaxed. I don't have to worry about the mute button. We can just kick back and have a chat.
That's right. We did a number of live webinar broadcasts, and it was always like, Susan, you're ready to go live, and there's no going back. And here, this is much more relaxed and much more fun. And it's great to be in London. It is a first time for me, and I'm seeing the sights. I did the tourist thing yesterday. I took the Jubilee line from my hotel down to Westminster first, and I saw Big Ben, and I saw the Westminster Abbey. Beautiful architecture, amazing history. But then on the way back, I saw a stop for London Bridge. I said, I've got to get off the tube. Do I call it the tube?
The tube, that's right.
I got
Very
off
impressed.
the tube,
yeah,
and I went to look outside. I saw the river Thames.
Yeah.
How do I say it?
Thames.
It's not Thames.
No. We wouldn't know what you mean with
I saw the river Thames. And no, to one side I saw Tower Bridge, which is the iconic silhouette. It was sunset happening. And the other side I saw London Bridge. It's not falling down, everybody. Don't worry. To my American friends, it's not falling down. But that's fantastic. So just walking along the river and seeing all these things is
You will see a lot
Wow.
if you walk along the Thames. And actually, it sounds as though, Mike, you've mainly seen historic London so far. If you want to see new London,
okay,
there's some really cool newish buildings in London that you can kind of go to the top of and get a view across London. So you might want to check out the Shard.
The Shard.
Yeah, also the Walkie-Talkie.
Oh,
Yeah.
not heard of that.
Yeah, so you can go to the top and look out across London as well. So that's rather fun. They also often have a good cocktail bar at the top if you like a cocktail as well.
A cocktail
Yeah,
would be nice after a long day, especially since I don't know what time of day it is anymore. This is great. Great advice. And I'm down here staying in Canary Wharf, and I'm noticing, like, is everybody here a fashion model, Susan? I think I'm underdressed. I'm wearing my American attire, and everybody's got black clothes on with fancy coats. And what am I doing wrong? How should I dress better next time I come to London? Is everybody beautiful in London?
So, Mike, I would say you're staying in a very specific district in London. So you're currently staying in the financial district. So working and also living here, there will be lots of bankers and people in financial services. So they're often very suited up.
Yes.
And so I think we're both underdressed today for the area.
Okay. Well, it seems very posh. Am I using that term correctly?
That is the right term. Yeah, posh is good.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that a US phrase?
No, I learned that from the Spice Girls.
Ah, good.
Isn't one called Posh Spice?
Yeah, that's right.
That's how I know. That's what I know. Everything I know, I learned from the Spice Girls.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So, Susan, when we last talked, you were with Verdantix, a research firm in the world of workplace, and you talked about trends and technologies and smart buildings and all kinds of really interesting things. And you know a lot about Eptura and how the recent merger has brought us together with all of these software brands. But what is it you do now? You're the senior manager for building operations strategy at Autodesk. What does that mean? Tell me more about what you're doing today.
Yeah, that's right. So I've recently joined Autodesk and I've taken a role in their strategy team focused on supporting our expansion into building operations.
Very cool.
And as part of that, we're looking at various things. We're investing in digital twins. And as you know very well, Mike, we have a strategic alliance in place with Eptura.
Yes, it's a wonderful opportunity to collaborate and deliver some of the data solutions throughout the building lifecycle, right? Tell me more.
Yeah, well, starting firstly with the very big picture, there are some megatrends making the way that we use and operate buildings increasingly important. So as we all know, buildings are a big contributor to carbon emissions globally. So the operation of buildings accounts for 28% of global carbon emissions.
Yeah. And
at the same time, there's growing demand for the built environment. If we think about the growing demand in cities for urban spaces, we've seen some data from the UN suggesting that 2.5 billion people could be added to urban areas by 2050.
Wow.
So all of this, these megatrends really do mean that we need to be smarter about the way that we manage our buildings. And we simply need to optimize our existing built environment for better efficiency, and also thinking about the renovation of existing buildings so we can use them for longer. And we came together with Eptura because we really have this shared vision that you mentioned, Mike. We see an opportunity to start bringing together data that was traditionally siloed, data from design, data from operations, and really start bringing this together into a single platform. And already we're starting to see across our joint customers, there can be value in using design and construction data throughout the operational of buildings.
Excellent. Can't wait to talk more about that with you and to learn more about your perspective and what you're seeing in the world of asset management and the built environment overall. It's certainly an exciting time for all of us. But Susan, this is a new audience for you, and before we get too far, they want to know a little bit more about the personal side of Susan Clark. So I think we've talked about your childhood musical tastes, which included the Spice Girls, right?
That's right. Girl power all the way, yeah.
Didn't I sing a little, now tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really,
Sounds
really
like
want.
You're a fan too, Mike.
I was for a while. But what are you listening to these days? What inspires you?
Well, I really do love all types of music, mainly upbeat music. And actually, recently, I've really got into listening to jazz music, but live jazz music. So actually, if you've got some spare time, Mike, while you're in London, there's some very cool jazz bars around Soho, Farringdon. And actually, jazz is on nearly every day of the week in London. So I would recommend that if you can find the time.
I love a little jazz. I can play a little...
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Very good.
There's no trumpet here. It's just me. It's just me. That's wonderful. Well, I have a short visit here this time, but I do expect to come back to London in the months to come. So I am gathering all the ideas of places I need to go and people I need to see. So it's really exciting to be a part of this global tech company, Eptura, that allows me to travel the world and meet so many great people in real life. And that's why I'm thrilled to have you here, Susan. So as you know from your past experience on my podcast, we like to inspire the audience. Are you prepared with a motivational quote you could share with us?
Yeah. So for me, a quote that I find inspiring. In fact, this is a very popular quote. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. In fact, this is such a popular quote. It's been said by so many people. It doesn't really attribute back to one
Anonymous,
person.
Attributed to
everyone. But for me, the reason why I find this really powerful, and in fact, this can apply to personal journeys, sporting journeys, and also work journeys. But the reason why I personally find it inspiring is it really highlights that success is often the result of the progressive and sustained push towards a worthy goal.
Yes, okay.
So to get somewhere big, you really need to think about building lots of mini habits, sustaining momentum, and let each mini success build on the next one. And we know in life many things are not that easy, so it's nice to think about kind of the future if you're kind of finding things tough.
Yeah, I think it's a journey. We're on this trip together, right? Around the sun. How many times we get to do it, I don't know. But it's been a wild ride, especially in recent years. And there are lots of things happening in the world of the built environment and asset management and facility management. So let's start there as we are moving forward. We have this new year just getting underway. 2023, Susan, can you believe it? So you're monitoring the marketplace and you see trends. And as we head into this new year, what's top of mind for you?
So I'd like to call out 3 big trends for this year. So firstly, I'm anticipating the rise of IoT for asset management. Secondly, I'm anticipating a uptick in renovations.
Okay.
And finally, I'm anticipating the return of energy management.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just going to dig into a few of those a bit more to kind of share with you what I'm anticipating we'll see.
Shall we call this the Susan Clark Crystal Ball?
Oh, yeah, let's do
podcast.
That. Yeah.
Yes.
And next year we'll check back and see.
That's
see
right.
How
we'll have to have you back
in
2024 and see how you did. Yes, so let's go through them. IoT, I've talked about that for years, and we're capturing a lot of data. And I think one of the challenges I've heard people say is that we have so much data, we don't know what to do with it. But there's also an opportunity to really analyze that information and create actionable insights, to use a buzzword or phrase. So tell me more.
So you're right, Mike. We have been talking about IoT for many years. In fact, I look back this time 10 years ago, we were all getting excited about IoT. But I think specifically for 2023, there are signs that IoT for asset management is reaching a new stage of maturity. And I think this is going to facilitate greater market adoption.
Excellent.
Yeah. So even if we look at something relatively simple like sensors, there are technical advancements helping reduce some of the obstacles that have traditionally held firms back with implementing and retrofitting these into old facilities. So we're seeing sensors become lower cost, better quality, have the ability to capture many more data variables at one time. And at the same time, on the customer side, we are seeing growing appetite for granular data and actionable insights.
There it is. There it is, my buzzword.
That's it.
I love
it. Specifically around energy management, indoor air quality. So I think the kind of trends on the technology side and customer side are going to come together to help IoT take a step forward. And in fact, this trend around the rise of IoT is also shaping the evolution of some Autodesk technology. So, for example, our digital twin Tandem. In the future, this will be helping customers to also monitor live data from their facilities too.
Yes, I did a webinar about Tandem with Bob Bray not too long ago. And I've had him on the show, and I've had Chuck Miles talking about his rockets. So many great friends from Autodesk that we have the chance to talk with. So there's a lot of folks involved with bringing this technology to the marketplace. But tell me more about these trends we're talking about and what our audience should be thinking about.
So the next trend I'd like to call out is around renovations. So I'm anticipating we will continue to see a big uptick in the volume of renovations within buildings. And I've actually seen some data showing that nearly 70% of building projects in the US and Western Europe are renovations of existing buildings as opposed to new construction. And all of this is being driven by the demand for more space, the interest in repurposing space, but also other big trends right now, such as electrification, and firms looking to upgrade and update their existing building stock so it's more sustainable.
So I imagine there's a lot of goals, sustainability being one, creating an environment which meets the needs of the workforce today, which has been changed throughout the pandemic. Expectations of people are different than they once were. So I guess there's a huge opportunity here for our audience to have an impact on all these things. But tell me more. What's the last trend that you're focused on?
So the final trend I'd like to call out is the return of corporate energy management. And it could be coming back and be bigger than ever before.
Corporate energy management.
Yeah,
okay, I've not heard that phrase before.
Yeah, so it goes by different names. Some people talk about strategic energy management, energy efficiency, but it's really kind of firms prioritizing energy monitoring, energy reduction projects, energy retrofits.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, and there's really in 2023 going to be a big confluence of trends coming together to bring energy management back on the agenda. So if we think about rocketing energy prices, net zero pressure, changing workplace requirements, and also more investor focus on ESG, it's these trends which are really going to push energy management back to the fore. And in fact, if you really think about it, this year, we're in a market with recession looming and also rising energy prices. So it's this kind of pressure which I think is really going to make firms think more strategically about their energy management. So I'm expecting everything from firms to be spending more time monitoring the energy usage across their assets. I think firms will be looking at really targeted energy efficiency improvements they can make to their buildings and their facilities.
Sure.
And we also might see the re-emergence of very transformational energy efficiency programs. So I'm thinking there about third-party funded energy performance contracts and things like that.
That's awesome. Great predictions. Do I say awesome too much as an American?
I don't think you say a good amount. I probably wouldn't say it much more, Mike. I think that might be overkill. Yeah.
I've heard that we've overused the word, and it used to be in proper English. It was really to talk about something that's truly inspiring, awe-inducing. And we're just like, awesome, dude. Everything's awesome.
I do hear it, I have to say, multiple times a day.
Oh, excellent. Well, it is awesome to see the power of technology and what that could mean to the future of the built environment. But before I let you go, Susan, we need to get practical and give the audience some takeaways here that they can put into action right away. So for those listening that want to be asset champions in their organization, what advice would you have for my audience today?
So my one piece of advice for an asset manager would be thinking about getting some of the basics in place before launching onto a more of a sophisticated technology program.
Okay.
We know one of the big challenges for this sector is around stranded and fragmented data.
Okay.
So really, before you can get value out of some of the more sophisticated technologies, you really want to be thinking about improving data quality and accessibility.
I've heard that data can get lost in data lakes.
Yes, that's right. Yes. And actually, to quote Vedantics, one of their quotes that I remember well is that you should clean up the dirty data lake.
Ooh.
Yeah, before playing with shiny analytics motorboats.
Nice. Yeah, okay.
So I think it really speaks to the fact that before we can get value out of really innovative technology, there is a lot of work to be done to making sure that our data is in proper order, make sure we're kind of using construction data or design data the best we can. You want to be thinking about tackling some of the massive data fragmentation that we see across maintenance and asset data. And this will really be a good starting point for your asset management journey.
Don't bring your fancy motorboat out onto the data lake if it's a swamp, folks. You don't want to get caught in the swamp. Nicely played, Susan. Good analogy. I like it. Well, this has been wonderful. Susan, so great to see you in real life. Thank you for taking time to join me on the Asset Champion podcast.
Well, thanks very much for having me, Mike, and it's been really cool to do this in person. Yeah, I look forward to coming back this time next year when we review all of my predictions for 2023.
Come visit me in the US.
I would love to.
We'll do a follow-up. We'll see how you did. Can't wait. And there you have it, everybody. Susan Clark of Autodesk sharing just a few of her insights and perspectives around what comes next for the built environment and the opportunity you have as an asset management leader to really make an impact in your organization. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. If so, will you please share this podcast with a friend or a colleague? And leave us a rating and a review over at Apple Podcasts or Spotify, anywhere you listen to this show. I really appreciate that, and it helps a lot as we continue on our journey to encourage and inspire you to be an asset champion. Peace out. You've been listening to the Asset Champion Podcast, powered by Aptura, the epicenter of the future of work. For more about how we help organizations to engineer a thriving environment by enhancing their employee experience, workspaces, and asset value, please visit aptura.com.